Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, entitled mom thinks her family's rules apply to everyone. Z-lister parent from reality show is rude to me. Pettiness ensues. Karen yells at me when I tried to stop her kids from being run over. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled mom thinks her family's rules apply to everyone. I have been reading this sub for a while and never thought I would have something to post, but here I am. Last week I was traveling for work. It had been a long 2 days of meetings and I was exhausted. I had just arrived at the airport for my evening cross-country flight home when I got the dreaded text from the airline saying my flight was delayed 2 hours due to mechanical problems. I decided to pass the time by getting something to eat. I found an airport restaurant and sat down to order. I ordered my food and pulled my phone out of my bag to catch up on email and browse the web while waiting for my food to arrive. While I was waiting, a family with a mom, dad, little girl about 5 years old and a middle school age looking boy sat at a table near me. I didn't pay them much attention as I was looking at email on my phone. But then I hear the little girl exclaim in a rather loud voice, "Look mom, that lady is on her phone at the table." I then hear the mother reply, "Yes, she shouldn't be doing that. It is rude to have a phone at the table." I glance over and the mother says to me, "We have a rule that no phones are allowed at the table." My first reaction was to say something snarky as exhaustion was definitely getting the better of me, but then I thought better of it and decided to be polite. I looked at the little girl and said, "We have the same rule in my family, but since I'm here alone, I'm not being rude to anyone by looking at my phone now." At this point, the son looks like he wants to crawl under the table from embarrassment, and the dad is trying to hand the mom a menu and says, "It's okay, let's just order." I think that will be the end of it, but no. The mom says, "Obviously you have a family, so you know how important it is to follow rules. I would appreciate it if you would put away your phone," in a tone that a parent would use on a petulant teen. The little girl chimes in and says, "Yeah, you have to put your phone away. My brother can't have his phone at the table, so you can't either." I look at the little girl and say in as sweet a tone as I can muster, "Well, the great thing about being a grown-up is that I can do whatever I want, so now I'm going to keep looking at my phone and turn back to my email." The mother sighs loudly, the teen looks even more embarrassed, and the dad again tries to get the mom to just order and leave me alone. The mom calls the waiter over and asks to be reseated. He grudgingly moves them to a different table. My food arrives, and I eat in peace, enjoying browsing Reddit. Edited to add. Thanks so much, kind people, for the silver and gold. I had no idea people would be this interested in this story. It has been awesome reading all of the comments. I remember there was a kid at my daycare who kept trying to tell us that his mom was the boss of us, and he cried when we told him she wasn't. I imagine that's who that little girl is. She definitely was practicing her entitled mom starter kit skills. I've had my kids say similar things while out and about. I'm the one who doesn't want to start an interaction with someone at another table. So usually I'll say something like, "Different people do things differently," or, "Well, they're an adult, so they get to do some things you can't," and try to avoid making eye contact with the person in question. Then there are times when someone is breaking more social rules, like when we've been waiting in line for something for half an hour and the kids are frustrated and some jerk cuts up toward the front, and the kids are like, "Look, that person just went right up. Why can't we?" And, of course, they're kids. So they say it loudly enough where half the other people in line can hear and turn to look. In those cases, I'll say something more like, "Well, not everyone follows the rules, but we do. Just because someone else acts like a bad person doesn't mean that you should too." I've had something very similar happen to me yesterday as well. Just like Opie, I was traveling for work and, naturally, a flight was delayed, so I ended up at the restaurant browsing internet having a cup of coffee and a sandwich. Next thing I know, Young rolls up to the table next to me wearing pajama pants, socks and Birkenstocks with 2 small kids in tow, probably 5 and 7. After about 10 to 15 minutes, she taps my shoulder and says, "Excuse me, I'm trying to teach my children table manners and that phones are not allowed at the table," implying that I should put away my phone, I guess. I just gave her a "WTF is wrong with you" look and said, "That is great, but what does it have to do with me?" Just went PPFFFTTT and moved to another table. Z-lister parent from reality show is rude to me. Pettiness ensues. This happened a few years previous, before the world stopped. I feel safe sharing as the girls are no longer at the school. So you're going to need a little context for this. In a lot of UK high schools, parent/teacher conferences happen in a huge hall where all the teachers from each subject sit at an individual desk and parents move around by their individual timetable. You get 5 minutes with each of your child's teacher in a subject, then you move on to the next. Now how these are spaced out, it's very tight with times. If you're late for a time slot, you can lose the meeting where everyone else is impacted and it all becomes chaos. Yes, people run late. The teachers are great and try to make it work. But to do this with 2 different children, who are in the same year group, it's like a military operation. Bit more context is I live in one of those posh yummy mummy villages in the region of said reality show. Needless to say, I do not fit in being from a more grounded area, with a strong accent and a more alternative look than yummy mum. Another point is Z-lister celeb with entitlement issues is not uncommon here, but overall it's a wonderful place to live. Players in this story is me, my daughter, my foster daughter's bio mom, science teacher, and Mrs. Z-lister, who has her son with her. At this time, both my daughters are in the last year of school. Working their butts off, making mama proud. On to the story, finally. So I'm on my mission seeing all the girls' teachers, sticking to timetable, girls and bio mom in tow. I'm speaking with other parents at each teacher's desks, gauging who needed to go first to get to their next appointment. It's going really well and I'm letting people in front if they have a sooner appointment next time and people are doing the same. It's going great so far. Up I scoot to foster daughter's science appointment with her and bio mom. Daughter is talking to a friend while we wait for her next one, and Z-lister stood waiting for science teacher. At this point I have no clue who she is as I don't watch said reality show. Following is our exchange. Me, "Hiya, you been waiting long?" Z-lister stares at me, looks me up and down. Me, "What time is your appointment? If you're in a hurry, I can." Z-lister, "I'm next." Me, "Okay, but what time is your appointment so we can help?" Z-lister, "I am next." Me, "Okay love." Z-lister's son hangs his head. Foster daughter and bio mom try to start to argue with Z-lister. I put my hand up to say don't. Bio mom tried to protest, saying how rude she is. Told her I would handle it. The set of parents who are finishing their appointment stand up to move an opposite direct direction of me. I step in and take their seats facing teacher. Z-lister, "It is me now, you move." Me, "No, I don't think so." Z-lister, "It's me next, move." Me, "No thanks." Z-lister turns to teacher. Z-lister, "Make her move, it's me." Teacher, "Sighs, would you mind letting her have a turn?" Me, smiles brightly, "No thank you. I think I'll have per turn now." Z-lister, "Move now." Me, shoos my hand at her while looking the teacher dead in the eye. Z-lister, "Don't you know who I am?" Me, "You're an arse." Now back up, sweetie, shooing again. Z-lister, "It's my turn." Me, "No." Z-lister, "If my bottle was full I would throw it at you." Me, "Shame. I am a bit thirsty." By this time we had attracted some attention. Z-lister decides to back off back to the side at this point as the head of science starts to walk over. Foster daughter's appointment went really well. I was overly animated at how wonderful everything was. We finish our appointment, stand up, and I give Z-lister the biggest dirt-eating grin I could muster. Z-lister, B*TCH. Me, have a nice appointment. We went away with foster daughter and biomum in stitches. I'm then informed who she is. Still no clue. There was a lot of talk around the hall the rest of the night. At the end, I went to science teacher and apologized for my behavior. He found it hilarious. Next day, at school, the son came and apologized for his mother's behavior to my foster daughter. She tells me they had a good laugh, and son tells her this is a common occurrence with his mother. I don't condone my behavior, but I believe nobody should speak to another human like dirt and get away with it. Z-lister probably didn't learn anything, but my foster daughter learned that nobody messes with her when I'm around. Wasn't the last lesson she saw in action either. Glad you kept her in her place. I have zero patience with entitled idiots who try to throw their celebrity status in everyone's faces. My immediate response to them is, idgaff. Z-lister, don't you know who I am? Yes, I do. Not a fan. Now back up, sweetie. You, okay, let's put on our thinking cap. See that clock on the wall? Find the words "I'm next" on the clock. Until you find the words or find the time of your big word here. AP point meant. I'm not letting you go. Karen yells at me when I tried to stop her kids from being run over. I've always kinda hoped I would have a story to post here, but I didn't expect it to happen like it did. For a little context, I'm a delivery driver for the big rainforest company. On this particular day, it had been raining despite the reports promising sun, so I didn't prepare for the sudden change. Typically, we get assigned areas to deliver to, so over time we learn the roads and become more accustomed to them. We recently changed contracts for areas, so the area I was delivering to was fairly new to me. I'm driving down a small road, pouring with rain, at about 15 miles per hour when I see a kid dart out from between two cars. Naturally, I hit the brakes and stop. I look around for any sign of a parent. Nothing. I can't see anyone. I then look back to the road and the kid has gone. Now I'm not about to go and chase after a kid, so I just keep going to the end of the road to make my delivery. As I make my way back down, I see another car trying to park, but the kid from before and I assume his brother are both running around the moving vehicle. These kids couldn't have been older than 5. The woman driving the car almost hits the kid with the back bumper. I know that it was unintentional as the kid was short and he was in the blind spot. Thankfully, the kid ran off again, allowing the woman to park. I drive on and roll down my window. I tell the kids, hey, don't running around on the road, it's dangerous. I then hear a very loud, who do you think you are? Karen turns up, with the typical haircut, up to my van. Who are you? I'm sorry? Are you the mom? Yeah. Stop telling my kids what to do. I'm quite ticked off right now. 2 vehicles have almost hit their kid, and all I was trying to do was to warn them of the danger. I try to keep my composure. You need to tell yours kids to stay off the road. It's dangerous. That other woman almost hit them. I'm watching them. They're safe. Who do you think you are telling my kids what to do? I just want to get out of here now, so I snap and just start yelling myself. I'm not the one who's going to end up with dead kids. Get off my road. Buy a bigger shirt, you fat. Now that was a little uncalled for, so I turn on my engine and yell out at her, at least my shirt will be cheaper than a coffin, and I drive off just hearing screaming. I'm more than likely going to be delivering here again in the future. I'm half tempted to get an empty cardboard box and keep it on hand if she tries anything again. Wow, she's watching her small kids darting around a car that's trying to park. Then, when someone tries to chase them off the road, the adult gets yelled at. Priceless, what a mother. Respectfully, I don't think a person who allows her kids to do life-threatening things and then scolds anyone who tries to teach the kids a bit of essential safety deserves the title mother. Perhaps female DNA donor would be more appropriate, because she sure isn't doing one of the most basic tasks of a true parent, keeping your kids safe and teaching them how to be safe. Good comeback. Years ago, I had a summer job at a vegetable packing plant. They bussed us in for our shifts. One evening, the bus stopped on the highway because a girl's mom was picking her up at the truck stop. She ran across the road as I watched out the bus window. Car hit her, knocked her clean out of her shoes. Fortunately, she lived. A few weeks later, I was driving and kids were having fun darting in front of cars. I stopped in the middle of the street, hysterically yelling, "You don't know me. I could be drunk or high. I could hit you and kill you. I just saw a girl I know hit by a car, thrown 20 feet, with her shoes left right there on the pavement. I don't want that to be you." Then I ran out of steam and apologized for yelling as I fought to hold back tears. The kids were wide-eyed and stunned. They mumbled something and left, and I collected myself and drove home. I bet she lets her kids crawl all over the shelves at the store too. If these kids make it through childhood without a serious injury, it'll be in spite of her and not because of her. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.